And we are back, and I am your host, Vanessa Obura, and this is Let's Talk Marketing. Today, I'm very excited because we have a host who is I've been following her for the past couple of months, and her content for me has appealed to me. Her name is Jean Wandimi. Jean is a digital marketing strategist and a course creator from Kenya. Jean helps content creators and freelancers use the internet creatively, effectively, and profitably. Jean also has a YouTube channel where she gives free resources about digital marketing, and working online. Welcome, Jean. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've been looking forward to this day for quite some time, right?
Yeah, really nice to meet you, and thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for joining us. So let's get straight into it, Jean. You've been a content strategist for a while, and I'd like to know, what changes have you seen from before, like from when you started to now, especially when COVID hit? What changes have you seen happening that probably had to make you also go back to the drawing board?
So for me, actually, even just saying between like the last 2 years, I've noticed that a lot has changed, and COVID also has made very big changes when it comes to marketing. So the first thing I've noticed is explosion of video content. So we are at home, so we are forced to really think outside of the box and come up with different content, especially in video. We've all seen that short, snappy videos or animated text in videos is also big at the moment. For example, through Instagram Reels and also through TikTok. I'm sure we've all seen these videos, and that's actually explained change that has happened. The other notice or have happening due to COVID is voice content or audio content. Then we were not doing podcasts, but over the last like 2 years, even pre-COVID, we've seen that people are now wanting to listen to podcasts and audiobooks as they do their work. So that type of content has really exploded, even forcing for lack of a better word, or prompting people like Twitter or platforms like Twitter to start their own new platform like Twitter Spaces, where people can communicate with voice. So those are the main two changes I've seen. But just to mention another one is the interactive content as well. So if you've been observant over the last few years in content creation, notice that trivias have really exploded active content. So marketing not just a marketing attitude, but I'm now is and I'm letting people contribute to the bigger message. So those three are things that have been have, kind of exploded over the last few months or years, as said, yeah.
Okay, great. Um, what strategies, speaking of strategies, what strategies used to work, but now, especially after COVID, you realize that they're not working? Probably you had to change the way you communicate or you deliver, like especially to your clients. What strategies are you seeing that you really had to take a different approach on?
Actually, that's an excellent question. So back then, we would rely only on organic media and organic marketing as well. So, for example, on Facebook, if you remember back then, Facebook pages, when they came to be, people used to only like market on Facebook pages for free and organically. And they would really get a lot of traction. Like for example, one post would even get like 300 likes, depending on how big the page is. You would notice that one post would get so many likes. But now, organic marketing, I don't want to say it's dead, but for brands, I've had to notice that you have to engage with a small aspect, or you really need to have a budget for your campaigns, because there's so much content created daily. So you have to make sure you're standing out, and paid campaigns and paid content is something that people should start thinking about. While you're also doing the paid one, make sure at least your organic content is also great. The other thing I've noticed is spamming and blasting your marketing no longer works. Back then, you could easily post like 7 posts in a day. I'm not saying like it no longer works. It depends on the platform. Obviously, for example, on Twitter, you're allowed to post like 10 things every day, but there are platforms whereby quality is better than quantity. So I've noticed that now you don't have to always like blast your product or talk about your product. Like for example, when it comes to email marketing, the other day I was having a discussion. It doesn't, you have to have like a good balance between between promoted content and between the value that you're giving people. So you need to really have a balance. So back then you could just tell people buy, 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 but now you have to actually offer value to your audience. You have to teach them something, and then you slowly like market yourself. So there's this rule called the 80-20 rule, whereby 80% of the time you should be giving value and marketing. I mean, you should be giving value, and 20% of the time now you should be promoting your product.
Great. So we all
Yeah.
know that we've seen an increase in MarTech, where marketing and technology are working hand in hand together. We've seen that marketers have had to use technology to help them better their marketing strategies, implement the strategies, and also to just get a better understanding of consumer behavior. Also, ROI, every marketer has to have a clear indication of what their ROI is. So with MarTech, what strategies have you used to make your content strategy better, especially when you're dealing with a client? What MarTech solution? I definitely know that you've had challenges with some of your clients where probably they don't understand that, okay, if I implement this strategy to help me, they're just seeing, the money, what they're going to spend. So, but what MarTech strategies have you used to make your content strategy better?
So for me, I'd like to say that MarTech is actually such an interesting topic, and it shows, as just as you've mentioned, it shows the fusion of marketing and tech. And I've noticed that there's so many tools and techniques that you can use to make your strategy better. And I love how like MarTech is divided into different tools and different facets. For example, when it comes to content management, because content marketing is the apex, because without content, how are you marketing? I've noticed that there are different tools that you can use. For example, when it comes to like content management systems, you can use something like WordPress, which is a blogging platform where you can host your website, or Joomla or something like that. You can also use HubSpot for different content management. When it comes also to like SEO, you can use different tools. So for example, SEO has been something big for me, for my clients, using tools like Yoast or Moz, and also landing pages, because if let's say you're marketing a service, there are different ways that you can use landing pages to sell something. You can use Wix.com or lead pages. So when it comes to different facets of marketing, you'll notice that there are also different tools, even things like Canva to just design simple flyers for your marketing, which is like the rich media tools. We've talked about how video has exploded. You can use different things like Filmora and video marketing platforms like YouTube, which is where actually I know that also you also host your show. So those are just a few. If we could go on, we could go on forever, but those are just a few that I've seen have really helped me. And in terms of strategies, we've obviously had a content calendar where we plan our content ahead of time, and then we post it to this specific platform. So always be more proactive than reactive. Back then, it was easy to decide, oh, today it's Friday, let's post a TGIF post. But now you have to really plan ahead of time and do your marketing well. So, yeah, those are the strategies.
That's very interesting. And speaking, because you deal with your clients every day, you know how consumers are behaving, you know how clients are behaving. In the region, we know that marketers technology, we know that technology is growing, especially in our region. We are learning to embrace technology, to adapt technology in the things that we do. Do you see marketers in our region embracing the MarTech deck? Do you see a situation where the CMO and the CIO and the CEO will be working together and saying, look, we need a whole MarTech deck to fully understand our audience, to fully understand our consumers and their behavior? Do you think we are close to getting to that situation, or there's still a lot there's still a lot of education that needs to be implemented to CIOs, to CEOs, to marketers as well? Or do you see a situation where we are now embracing, the technology and embracing that marketing needs a budget?
Yeah, I've seen actually, it's not a matter of is it happening, because it definitely is happening, especially for bigger companies as well as some SMEs. You can definitely, even just simply like browsing through websites and social media pages, you can definitely see that some thought was put into it, and there's some aspect of MarTech going on behind the scenes. As far as a whole department, I'm sure not every organization probably has the budget to have a whole marketing department, depending on the size. But I'm already seeing some aspects of that being done by the big brands. Most of these big brands have big MarTech or marketing desks already there. And I can tell that also even the heads of the CIOs, the CMOs, all those are really like the CMOs or the CEOs are really part of that process. I think it's just a matter of time. Obviously, there are some tools that will take longer to come to fruition, but some obviously are already happening. So I do see in Africa, and even in the region, when you talk about East Africa, I do see that. But obviously, it's a case-to-case basis. And yeah, bigger companies are already doing it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Jean, for joining us today. You touched on a lot of topics that my audience were asking, and they were actually looking to hear from you. And thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to have you. You know, we have a MarTech Summit coming up at the end of this month. So I'm really looking forward, for you to join us. Yes, because your insights are very, interesting. Being on the ground, interacting with the audience, it will be really good to have you join us.
Oh, thank you so much. I look forward to attending. Thank you for having me on the show. If anybody wants to follow me, you can find me on @JeanWandimi on all social media. But yeah, thank you, Vanessa. It was actually a nice show.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much also to our audience. I mean, as you see, we are trying to get the people that you want to hear from, because MarTech is the next big thing in the region. And speaking of MarTech is happening on June 30th. To register, just log into CIO East Africa, www.cio.co.ke. You'll find all the information you need right there. You can ask any questions if you have. You can register. And yes, it will be so nice to have you join us, and you'll be able to interact and get any information that you need. Thank you again, once again. And if you've not subscribed to our magazine, please do so. Again, log into cio.co.ke. There's a subscription link on there that you'll be able to click on and get all the information you need to get you this magazine. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Vanessa Obura, and this is Let's Talk Marketing.